This is episode 45 of This Makes Me Happy. Welcome to This Makes Me Happy, a podcast about people and what makes them happy. I'm your host, Bernardo Margulis. I'm a designer, art director, and educator, and I'm the principal of This Makes Me Happy, a design studio where I help my clients with branding and visual communications. I'm very happy to present This Makes Me Happy, the podcast, where each week I chat with a different person about what makes them happy. My guests come from all walks of life, and each of them shares their own personal happy stories. Join us every week for a unique conversation. Hello, today I am very happy to have Violeta Nedkova with me. Violeta is a multi-passionate writer and creative business owner from Bulgaria. Hi Violeta, how are you doing?
Hi Bernardo, so good to be on your podcast. I'm great.
Great. Else from the intro, is there anything you want people to know about you?
Oh my gosh, there's so many things because I'm much passionate, but mostly I want people to know that I'm a rebel. I just do not conform to business as usual and marketing as usual and just anything as usual. So sometimes I don't even conform to my own thoughts. This is why I have built the brand on being a kind of creative rebel who wants to meet fellow creative rebels and just kind of create this creative place for us to be rebellious. And yeah.
Well, hopefully it'll come up in the conversation. If not, we'll come back to it later because I want to hear more about it. But as you know, the main question here is what makes you happy?
Oh my gosh, I thought so much about this because you asked me in the forum, and at first I was thinking, traveling, I love traveling, and I love, talking to people and meeting new people. But honestly, I can think of only two things I cannot survive without and make me so happy. One is writing. I have always been a writer ever since I was a little girl, maybe since I learned about, words. And it's just the only time during the day when I would be completely silent. My mind wouldn't worry. I would not be distracted. I wouldn't think about anything other than what I'm doing. And it's like meditation for me, writing is. And I guess it's just my favorite thing to do.
And you said there were two things. Do you want to tackle the other one or do you want to?
Almost forgot the second thing. The second thing is beginnings. And I know it sounds weird, but I've always been this kind of person who would get so excited about a new beginning, a new place to live in, a new project, new people to meet, new skills to learn. That is why I'm much passionate because I just cannot live, I can't make it a few months even without something new happening. I guess that's why, I regularly change addresses. I start new products and projects every year. I started my business last year. That was amazing. Yeah, beginnings are super, super exciting. I wish, finishing things was just as exciting, but unfortunately, it's just beginning things.
So I took on knitting a year ago, and I like starting, or 2 years ago. I like starting. I like doing the swatches. I like figuring out the process. But halfway through it, I'm like, all right, next project. All done. What else can we start?
But you have to try things to see if they fit, right?
Yeah. So. And they fit. I just want to try new things.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that the writing's going to build its way into it. So let's go down the new thing rabbit hole. What does it mean for you to start something new? How do you feel at that moment of freshness?
It's like you're starting your whole life fresh. I know it sounds ridiculous, but sometimes how you have this heap of worries and past regrets and just heap of things that you wish you could erase from your mind. I feel like every time I start fresh, it's like those things just disappear for a little bit, and they're replaced by this new, thrill. And that is what happens every time I start something new. And sometimes there's so many things that are happening in my mind, and some of them negative, that I literally have to do a big change to erase all of them just for a little bit. And I know that's not maybe the healthiest thing to do, but I guess that's just how I've learned to do it, or maybe it comes like naturally. But I definitely, that's my defense mechanism against life's hardships and stuff.
So you talk about starting over again. Is that with every single new thing, or does it make a difference if it's a small change versus a big change?
Yeah, it makes a difference. I guess projects are always kind of big for me. I actually like to start new things all throughout the year, like a new book or, a new side project or, travel a little bit. Those little things, keep me going. But if I'm really bogged down with life and stuff, I really have to make a big change. So I guess the big changes are only for really kind of hard times in my life.
Is that something you consciously do, or do you acknowledge there's a hard time, or you just happen?
Honestly, I just realized I do this by talking to you. And that is why I love podcasts, because like when you, and conversations with people, because when you talk to someone, even someone you just met, it's like you reveal things about yourself that you never thought about. And I never do this in writing. It just happens in speaking. I don't know if it's just for me or for other people as well, but I have found this to be really weird.
And so how do you meet these people? How do you connect with them? I know how you connected with me, but how do you have these connections and start these conversations?
Yeah, I love podcasts, and sometimes when I'm launching something, I would definitely reach out to people and pitch myself, but in a way that I really want to talk to this person, of course. And also, I had this kind of project a few months ago that I called Conversations with Creatives. And obviously I meet everyone on Twitter because, that's my domain. And I meet people there, and then it's just natural if we've had a few conversations to say, hey, do you want to jump on Skype over coffee or something? And that's like a coffee date. Sorry, I forgot my thought, but I know you edited it out. But yeah, the project, Conversations with Creatives, I started this because I thought that we were too into this whole internet/business thing, and we were, wasting away without human connection sometimes if we're just on the computer and, for example, we're just creating or spending our time isolated from other people. And I feel like at some point I felt so isolated that I needed to do something like this project. And I did it. I did it for a whole month, and it was so much fun. I discovered so many new hobbies to try, and people to worship, and just so much fun and great, insightful conversations.
So is human interaction one of those aspects that you need newness and freshness all the time also?
I guess, yes. I love people. I adore people. I feel like I need to know how people work. And I studied psychology in university. And talking to people is one of the things that make me really happy, because it's like I get things out of them and they get things out of me, and it kind of flows in a way that helps us both. And it's not just a conversation, how are you? Oh, look at the weather. It's not chit chat. It's actual deep, meaningful, existential conversations. Super fascinating. And I guess it is connected to the newness. If the person is completely new to me, like you are.
So going parallel talk, going back to the idea of newness and freshness, can you give us some other examples of how you apply that? You mentioned changing addresses, you mentioned new projects. Can you talk us a little bit about through those?
Yeah, sure. So I guess ever since I was in high school, I noticed that I was different from other people. Well, I've always known that I was kind of different, but I mean, everyone is different, right? It's just that I didn't connect very well with my peers during high school, after that, even before that. And that kind of forced me to go into my own fantasy world, as it were. Like, for example, I would go on fan fiction forum sites and read and write fan fiction. I would meet new people who are also writers online. I would just not find the people who were like me in my real life. So I would just transfer everything to the internet. So basically, I created this fantasy world online, and that led me to discover some things about me. For example, I started, blogging. I started using social media and some other platforms, and I realized that I had so many ideas. So I started projects, and I think for the first time in my life, other than, spending time with my loved ones and, thinking about animals because I love animals. For the first time, I was truly happy when I started to start projects that were, just kind of in my head. I'm not sure what the first project was, but it was online, of course. Everything was online. I would make the website, I would reach out to people, I would just make this whole thing. I even, one of the years, I think it was 2012, I started this huge project. Maybe it was 10. It was a huge project. And to this day, I regret that I didn't finish it. But it was the best thing I'd ever done. And the only reason I didn't finish it, it was because it was I was in over my head, how you learn things about you as you go. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you're so brave and you're so eager to start things that you just jump right in. But you don't realize what you have to do later. Like it's too much, maybe something is too much for you. So for example, for that project, I was the sole person in charge. And that was a big mistake because it was a huge project. So if I had known, if I had done something as big earlier, I would have known what to do to succeed with this project. However, I didn't and I failed. And which is why today I'm so grateful that I did, because now that I start projects, I know exactly what I need to do not to fail. So that, and I'm not talking about failing as in making money and not making money. I'm talking as in losing your momentum or motivation or falling behind or, something like that. So, right now I just enjoy starting projects all the time. And whether I'm, traveling or meeting new people or whatever, the projects always remain.
So this idea of newness doesn't mean that you're not learning from experience, because you are. So it's new things, but knowing what you already know.
Exactly. And for example, right now, I even know when to start something and when not to start something. Not always, but like most of the time I would say, I would see something and I would say, I would not finish this or I would not enjoy this or something like that, because I've tried so many things. And that's the thing. The more you try new things, the more you learn about yourself and what you're able to do, and you apply it in your current situation to make your decision. And that is how I think eventually maybe you succeed.
So the fact that you have this experience and you already have this past knowledge, does that make the fresh stuff better or hinder it?
Yeah. Yes, totally. For example, I would rarely start huge things if I do ever, because I'm a little bit of a sprinter. There are people who are, a marathon runners, but I'm a little bit of a sprinter and I tire easily. However, there are so many ways to make something happen. For example, most of the time I would start small projects like a book or something else. And I'm talking about an ebook, not like a huge novel or something. And And I would finish this because I know I have done it before and I will do it again. However, when it's something bigger, I either need more help from other people or, for example, for almost everything to be ready before it's launched or something like that. I need to be sure that it's going to happen before it happens, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. So if it's small, it's not a problem. If it's big, there has to be safety nets, or I don't know what it's called, if you know what I mean.
So calculated risks.
Yeah, exactly. I'm always about the balance. I love risk, but there is no joy for me to think, oh my God, I can totally fail on my butt and fall on my butt. And I'm not going to be happy. I mean, obviously, I don't mind failing. But if I failed before and I can learn from it, why should I fail again at the same time? You know what I mean?
Right. Is there any aspect where you're okay with just jumping off and not knowing?
Oh gosh, I'm a Capricorn. I don't know if you know about astrology, but Capricorns are very calculating.
I'm a Capricorn.
Okay, so we're very careful. We're not jumpers. However, I'm also a very flighty person because of my Aquarius ascendant or something. So basically, I'm literally two people. I love jumping in, but I have to kind of know what I'm jumping into.
When's your birthday?
January 13th.
Mine's the 17th.
Oh, okay.
So 4 days apart.
I remember that.
So is that something you keep in mind? Do you think that really defines you?
I don't like. I mean, people have choice in how they develop in life, and people change all the time. However, I don't believe that your nature changes. So beneath all the layers and the habits and the stuff, you don't really change your core self. So I do think that those two things define me, the part of the Capricorn and the part of the Aquarius, because both things are so apparent in me. One is more apparent than the other, but I feel them so strongly that I know for a fact that they define me as.
Have you ever had a situation where you thought or knew you weren't going to succeed, yet you still did it?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think, most of the time, I feel like my early projects, they were not very, I didn't do them for success. I was doing them for fun, they were hobbies. And at the back of my mind, I just knew that, just another project, it's going to be over in 3 months. But that was okay because those were just hobbies. And honestly, back there, I had no idea you could do this for money. No idea. And nobody tells you that you can do this for money. And I think it's a new thing, a part of our generation. So I think back then I was just having fun. I didn't care about success. And I'm happy that I did that because, sometimes people would say, oh my God, when do you find the time to have hobbies? Or, I'm working all day and then I'm exhausted and I have a boyfriend and I have a daughter or whatever you have. Or I'm watching Netflix and I'm like, I will not survive if I don't find time for what I love. And I don't know what they say next. They just kind of ponder it.
Well, and then the next thing is that you do what you love for a living. So you don't have to find time. It's built in.
Yeah, exactly. But back then, I would just work crappy jobs. And even if I'm exhausted, I would still try, to make time because I cannot imagine a life where I just don't care how I spend it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like you have this precious life and what you wasted on all day doing crappy job, then, responsibilities, then, and then you're too tired and then you begin the next day. And I think you may say, I don't have a choice. You do have a choice. Everyone has a choice. Everyone can just up and leave at any point. And yes, we do need money, but there's so many ways to do, to make money. So that's why I don't understand some people, because they complain, oh, I don't have time, or, oh, I hate my job, or, oh, I have too many responsibilities, and then they don't do anything about it. So don't complain, just, accept it as it is and keep going like that. Or if you want to improve it, just do it. I mean, nobody's like stopping you. You're the only thing that's in your way.
Yeah. And the other thing, I believe I like what you're saying, you have a choice. And you and I, obviously, we do what we love doing for a living. And we all know our businesses, so it would be stupid for us to not do what we love. But I think another choice is to accept that what you do 9 to 5 is a job. And then after that, when you get home, make the things that you love. So if you need something to pay your bills, okay, it's just to pay the bills. Get a job that you are happy with enough to pay the bills. Exactly. But then get home and do your projects and do what you love, and do, choose something. You don't have to necessarily, the choice, I mean, that's just my perspective. You could think different.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
You don't have to love what you do to pay your bills, but you have to make sure that you're okay with that, and then do what you love for life.
Totally. And people are different. For example, I am so miserable when I work 9 to 5, whatever the job is, that it kind of seeps into my whole day. So I had to stop. Like, I was forced to stop. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but I'm just this kind of sensitive, emotional person that kind of fuels everything. And this was a huge problem, because like I was broke for so long. And even now I would just, all the money I make, I save it so hard just in case I have a tough year. For example, right now, sometimes I'm living off my savings from the last year. Because you can't always be super successful in a creative business. And I realized that it takes a long time, and I only started it 1 year ago. Before that, obviously, I did some other things, but like my business, it's impossible for it to be super successful right now. And I know this, and when I started it, I knew this. And so I saved so much money. And now, when I get in trouble, I just, dip into the well.
And you made that choice to follow your dreams, knowing that you have that backup and you could do it.
Yes. Yeah, because like I said, I have to be, there has to be a balance between being smart and being brave and, creative and crazy. Like, you have a crazy idea, you have a great idea, all the power to you. But like, think about where the money's coming from, whether it's from a 9 to 5 or savings, or, you don't need any money because you're living with your parents. That's all fine. Just do what you need to do for you for the moment, because, businesses take a long time to work.
So if business wasn't an object, let's say, I don't know what's the cost of living in Bulgaria, but let's say someone gives you enough money to live up for the next 5 years, and you didn't have to worry about that at all. Would you still be doing what you're doing? Would you be doing something else? Would you be taking more risks?
I would be doing the exact same thing, because right now, I don't ever know if a project is going to pan out. So I don't think I would be doing something different, except I'm probably going to live on the beach and not because everyone else is, but because I love the beach. It's like the water kind of makes me feel, that's also a thing that makes me feel happy. It's like, it fills you up. And I don't know, I feel like I've been like a water animal or something in a previous life, because when I'm in the water, I feel so alive. I just can stay all day, and you can never take me out.
How close are you from the beach?
Nowhere close. Right now I'm not. I'm nowhere near the beach, but this is only because I can't afford it. But one day when I can, I will totally go there.
I'm looking at a map of Bulgaria right now. Where are you?
Yeah, I'm in Ruse. Ruse, it's on the Danube, so it's like up there, but the beach is, a little bit more to the right.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I just
So
remember from elementary school learning Sofia is the capital city.
yeah, yeah, and I lived in Sofia as well for a while. It was cool.
So you would move to the beach and then keep doing everything else the same way it is. Is that a Capricorn thing? Because I feel the same way. People say, "I'll give you $100,000." What we do? I'll be like, "I'll put some in the bank, and then I'll put some that I can use, and then keep working. I'm gonna keep working."
I think, yeah, maybe it's a Capricorn thing because I cannot imagine, like, probably I would save most of my money. Like half of the money will be saved somewhere, in case something happens. Because imagine you go bankrupt or something. Anything can happen, or you get really ill. I mean, those things are expensive, and you need those money, or someone from the family, God forbid. So, like, you will need at some point, life will throw you a curveball and you will need a lot of money. And for those cases, I will save at least half of my money. And about the work, it's not about making more money. It's about just doing what makes me come alive. Because if I'm doing nothing, I would be so miserable. I've always been so driven to create and to do and to work with people that I cannot imagine waking up. Like, I would probably be purposeless. Like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do today? Oh, maybe I'll watch Netflix, and I will fade away and fall into the depression or something. Maybe traveling a little, but that's a distraction.
Well, it's just how lucky are we? Well, at the same time, lucky and condemned that we love to do what we do so much that I don't know if you ever plan to retire. I think even when I retire, I'm going to keep working.
Oh my God, I'm so fortunate to be a writer. I think when I retire, I'm just going to be writing books for the rest of my life.
So why don't we take that segue and talk about writing, because you also said writing makes you happy.
Oh gosh, it makes me so happy. I've written everything short of scripts because it's scary. But I started, writing magazine articles, essays, fan fiction, like I said, then fiction, then poetry. Then I went back to fiction and nonfiction articles and stuff like that, and blogging, obviously, because that's the biggest thing I do. And I feel like I write every single day now, like every single day. And I think making it a habit has helped me not fall into some kind of rut, oh, I can't write, writer's block. I don't believe in that, because if you make it a habit, you just go and you don't think about what you're doing and you're doing it. Because if you have honed your craft so well, how can you not be able to write? That's impossible. It's like, oh my God, I can't drive my car today because I have driver's block or something. It's impossible. And I think my favorite thing, to be honest, is writing science fiction. That's my most favorite thing to write. Unfortunately, I have found that for me, it's impossible to both write nonfiction and blogging and at the same time fiction. It has to be one or the other. So, for example, if I take the summer off, that's going to be, let's write a book and then back to work. So it's not a good combination for me, but it is my favorite thing. Yeah.
Do you publish them, or is it for yourself? The fiction and nonfiction?
Unfortunately, I'm one of those people who has many unfinished and unpublished drafts in her drawers, unfortunately. But I came very close, I think last year, because of NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month. I think I came so close to finishing one of my drafts, but unfortunately, I was so burnt out, from fixing everything and trying to connect everything. And unfortunately, I have this curse on me that my mind goes in 1,000 million different places all at once. And so, for example, when I'm writing, maybe I'm gonna do a segue and then come back to it and then get distracted again and then come back to it. And with blogging you can edit it out and that's just an article. But if it's a book, oh my God. If it's a book, you start to forget what you said in chapter 2 and what the character was doing. Oh my God, what was I supposed to do in chapter 5? Where are the, notes? And I get so confused. It's like this huge mountain on your shoulders and you can't breathe. And that is the only reason I couldn't finish. And then, of course, if you wait 1 year or more away from your manuscript, it's like you've forgotten everything because I forget things too. So I think for me, okay. For me personally, I keep telling people just know yourself very well so you can succeed on your own terms. So for me personally, to succeed, quote unquote, in publishing a book of fiction, it would either have to be some kind of interesting new hybrid, like a flash fiction thing, or maybe it's going to be a nonfiction book of short stories. I don't know. But it can't be like Lord of the Rings. It definitely cannot be Lord of the Rings. So basically, I think one day I'm going to figure it out how that looks for me. And I'm going to do it because I'm not going to give up.
Do you think that there's more meaning, the fact that you write it for yourself, or do you think that you need to publish it and that'll give it more meaning?
That is the eternal question. I feel that I would be super fulfilled if I publish it. But maybe that's just my ego. But then again, you know how when you write something and it touches someone and it changes their life, that I think brings much more fulfillment than, keeping some drafts in, some manuscripts in your drawers. It doesn't make any sense. It's not just ego, it's thinking about other people. And since I love helping others and actually even entertaining others, I would love to publish and see what the reaction would be, I guess.
Do you think that you're already doing that with your blog and that's why you don't have a rush to do with books?
Yeah. That's why I can't do both. Because it's I'm already doing it. I just love connecting with people through my writing. And actually they tell me all the time, oh my God, it feels like you're talking to me and I feel the same way. And this is the best thing you can tell me ever.
So overall, there's a common thread with people through writing, through new connections, new conversations. You study psychology, you help people.
Yeah.
Is that a conscious choice?
No, it just comes from within. It's funny because I would be out with friends and I would know, I would mention something about my book, that I'm writing. And someone who doesn't know me that well, they would stop and look at me and they're like, you don't look like a writer. They're boring. And I'm like, excuse me.
What does that mean?
It's like I think they imagine writers just closed off in some kind of really smoky basement, writing on their typewriters and never showing their faces in public.
All the stereotypes.
Yeah, stereotypes, yeah.
I had a situation, I was visiting my friend, and her neighbor went to high school with us. And I hadn't seen her in years, the neighbor. And I was holding her baby, and we were talking oh, what do you do? What do you go to school for? I'm like, oh, I'm going for graphic design. And she was like, aren't you too smart to be a graphic designer? I'm like, what do you mean? Is that a stereotype that graphic designers have to be stupid? Do you know what I do? And I was like, no, I'm actually very smart to be a graphic designer. Stereotypes, why?
That is such a strange stereotype because I would never think they're stupid. Quite the opposite.
I mean, I guess, I don't know how you felt when they stereotyped you not looking like you're writing, and then they stereotyped me not being a designer. It's learn more about what
Yeah,
we
it's
do and then.
annoying. Yeah.
So if you had your ideal day writing or new projects or let's say a whole week because you might need more time with your scope, what would that look like?
It would definitely, I mean, I schedule everything, so it would look like it looks now. I mean, it's not rigid. Like, I keep it flexible, but in a scheduled way. It's so strange to say that. So basically, okay, so writing usually comes to me during the weekend, and I'm like, oh, I'm inspired. I'm gonna milk it. So I milk it and write everything, and then each day has its tasks. Its business tasks, and I just do those when I have to. But whenever I get inspired, when I get inspired, I would just stop everything and catch the muse because it doesn't always come. And I feel like with so much newness, as I said, I need some things to be steady. Like, for example, every Monday I send my emails. Every Monday I also publish a blog post. Every Thursday I would send another email. And for example, when I do a huge project like this, every week would have its focus. For example, last week it was emails. Actually, this week it was emails. Next week it's going to be video. And when you hold these things, like these focus points, you can do your work. But for me, it's equally important to do what I love when I feel like doing it, but also not so much that I forget about what I have to do. Does that make any sense?
No, absolutely.
Yeah, so it would definitely look like it looks like now, and that's organized chaos.
So you already have your ideal week, so you don't have to make it.
Well, if we have to be completely honest, it would definitely include more socializing, but that's another curse I have, that I kind of isolate myself when I'm working, especially if I'm working on something big, because it's so big that I just have to kind of give birth to it in a matter of, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, and it's so big, and 2 or 3 months is nothing. So you can see how I literally do not have time to do anything else. But then, the balance comes when it's out, and I'm doing more things, but it's a little bit more relaxed, and it's like I'm living in those periods of doing this now. 2 months from now, it's going to look like this, and then it's going to look like this. So it's never the same. Like, it's never the same day or even the same week. But that's the exciting part. I think that's the newness, the beginnings, because I'm always learning new things. I'm always trying new things, and it's so exciting. But it can also be exhausting, as anyone who is kind of like me knows. It can be super exhausting.
Do you ever think about the future, since neither one of us is retiring, obviously, as we spoke? Do you ever plan what would you like to be 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 50 years from now?
I have tried. Mm-hmm. I have tried, yes. Everyone does. But I think that doesn't work for me. Like I said, I just learned so much about me, especially the last few years when I went to work for myself. I learned so fast and so much that now I see there's no point in imagining anything, because every year is different. And if every year is different, how can, 20 years from now, how can I even know? I can suspect and hope, but I can never know, and I can never plan for more than, for example, the next 6 months. And that's what I did this year. I've planned for until June, and after that, I'm probably going to be traveling and doing stuff. And after that, I have no idea. But I know one thing for sure: I'm never going to let go of this business if I have the choice, because it has made all the difference in my life. I'm so happy every single day waking up. I've never experienced anything other, like anything like this before, maybe when I had an idea for a book, but that's it. And the book is not sure income, it's not certain income. So the book is not the way to go yet. Maybe one day when I have, the inspiration and the time and I'm not worried about money, I'm just going to be sitting at the beach and writing my own book and maybe even self-publish, who knows. That's going to be good. But yeah, I think in 20 years, I'm definitely going to be published. At least I will try.
Okay, Violeta, now I want to go on to the rapid fire section, and I will throw a few questions about different things that make you happy, and I want your gut reaction. Ready?
Okay.
Who makes you happy?
My cat.
Do you have a happy food?
Eggs. I love eggs.
Oh, I love eggs. Any kind of eggs?
Yeah, any kind of eggs. Any kind of eggs.
When are you the happiest?
When I write.
What is the last thing you remember that made you happy?
Oh, I was in Rome. I think I was just wasting my day with a couple of friends, and we had no plans. So we said, yeah, let's go to this place. And literally the whole day it was just taking pictures, laughing, eating, walking down the streets of Rome. And I think I'm most happy when I wander. I guess.
And this is one of my favorite questions to ask. What is the first happy moment you can remember?
Wow. That is a hard question because I don't really remember early memories. Oh yeah, I remember one happy moment that was really early. I think they published my baby poem. Like I wrote some kind of really stupid poem and they published it in the newspaper or something like that. It was really stupid poem, but I was so proud.
So you've been published way longer than you can remember.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it was a silly newspaper and it was for kids something. I don't know, but I was so proud. And I was so proud that I actually sent it.
Do you remember what it was about?
I have no idea. I think it was something about, oh my God, this word flashes in my mind when I think about it. Porcupines. No idea why.
Oh, that's adorable. Well, hopefully if you find it, we can share it.
No chance.
Although I don't think anyone here most of the people who listen don't speak Bulgarian, so you're in luck. We're not going to be able to read it. That's so sweet. So if people want to find you or if people want to learn more about you and your creative rebelness, where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me on my website, violetanedkova.com. I'm on Twitter all day long at Violeta Nedkova. You can say hello. I always answer. And you can also find me on creativerebelacademy.com, which is actually going to be launched in January 13th on my birthday. That's so amazing. I turned 30. It's so crazy.
Are you scared about 30?
Oh my God, I've been scared for the longest time, like an entire year, because I felt like I had to have succeeded by now. But I think I let it go like a few weeks ago when I realized that this project that I love so much is going to be launched on this day. And I feel like this made my birthday so much more special. And actually, it's a Friday 13.
Oh, so that's going to be super lucky.
Yeah, it's going to be super special day and lucky and exciting because I'm going to be launching and crazy and oh my God.
So this episode will come out after that. So by that time, how long is it that going to be open, or is it going to close?
Oh no, it's going to be open like all the time because it's going to also have a blog with all kinds of features for Rebels. So it's going to be like a place where you can come and gather up with Rebels. There's going to be a community. There's going to be something private, but you guys don't worry about it. I mean, it's going to be launching from a specific date to a specific date, but there's always going to be like free stuff to enjoy. And
So when people are listening to this the end of January, should already go to rebelacademy.com and check it out.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
CreativeRebelAcademy.com.
Creative Rebel Academy. And we'll make sure to put the correct link on the show notes for anyone who wants to listen.
Oh, thank you. I'm not one to promote myself endlessly, but it's such a passion project. I'm just so excited, and so many people have helped me. I'm super happy about this.
This is the time to promote, so feel free to do so.
Oh gosh. No, it's simply a place where business as usual. There's no marketing as usual. There's no spammy anything. It's just where people come and are super honest and authentic and creative with their businesses and just like keeping it real. And because I feel like if you're a unique individual, which you are, everything you do must be unique, just as unique. And that means your blog, your brand, your business. And I hate when people just, kind of like, oh, this is what my business is supposed to like. I'm going to do that. No, you can do anything you want. And I feel like I have this mission to remind people that it's okay. You can do anything you want as long as you keep a balance between creative rebellion and, things that work. So, for example, learn the strategies that work and go to the experts when you have to learn Photoshop or whatever. But do not let people define the terms of your business and what you should create and what you should do. So I feel like this academy is going to we find success on our own terms, which is the most important thing to me in the world.
I love it, and I can't wait for it to come out and check it out on your 30th birthday. So that'll be great. Thank you so much for sharing everything that makes you happy.
Thank you so much. This has been a refreshing conversation.
Thanks, Violeta, for sharing what makes you happy, and thanks everyone for listening. A special thanks to Jason Zappolo for editing this episode, Orly Margulis for help with social media, and Rocio Castañeda for ongoing support. You can get this episode and notes at thehappypodcast.com/episode45, and you can learn more about this project, listen to past episodes, or get in touch with us through thehappypodcast.com. You can find us on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at thehappypodcast, and you can get the latest episodes on YouTube, youtube.com/thehappypodcast. If you like the show, please go to iTunes and subscribe so you can get the episodes in your device as soon as they come out. And you can go to itunes.com and leave us 5-star review so that other people can find more about us. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.